David realized there's no need in me trying to get any consolation for my wives that have been taken. My heart is broken like everybody else's, but I can't get any strength from these men. They are too grief-stricken. They've pushed the panic button. And if I'm going to get any encouragement, I've got to get it from myself. David encouraged himself. And I believe that you come to that point where there are times when nobody else can encourage you. And you got to learn how to encourage yourself. Well, preacher, how can I encourage myself? First of all, I believe that David encouraged himself by going into the treasury of his subconscious mind. I think he had to remember what God had done for him in the past. If you can remember what God did for you yesterday, woo, you won't have any trouble worrying about what he'll do tomorrow. If you can remember how he brought you through the Red Sea, it gives you faith and confidence to know that he's the same God when you come to the Jordan. If you can remember how he brought you through the 40s and the 50s, how he brought you through the 60s and the 70s. If you can look and see how he's brought you thus far through the 80s, you won't have any trouble remembering and believing what he's going to do for you as you approach the 90s. David remembered that this isn't the first time I was by myself. I was out there by myself watching over my father's flock. And I saw that ferocious lion when it came out of the woods and caught a hold to one of my sheep. And oh, before I could get that sheep away from the lion, I looked on the other side and a bear had another one. But you know what I did? I took that lion and grabbed him by his beard and killed him with my own hands. I also slew that bear, and I didn't have any help from anybody else. Even when I heard that uncircumcised Philistine giant by the name of Goliath that stood about 9 feet tall, standing at the apex of the mountain saying, "Who will come and challenge me? I'll give his carcass to the fowls of heaven." But God got in my arms when I picked up a rock and put it in my slingshot, and he delivered me from that uncircumcised Philistine giant. And I know that if he was with me yesterday, I don't have to worry about him being with me today. And a second thing that he did in order to encourage himself, before he went running off after the Amalekites, the Bible said in verse 8 that he inquired of the Lord. And I think that's a good way to encourage yourself. Inquire whatever trouble you're in. Look in God's book. Look in his catalog. Look in his directory and see, am I conducting myself in a way for God to be with me? And when he consulted the Lord and said, "Lord, must I pursue after him?" the Lord said, "Pursue." And when he got the word of God telling him to pursue, he took off in strength. And I'm here to tell you that when you get the word of God, no matter what you're going through, if God tell you in his word, "I'm with you," go for it and know that I'm by your side. Go for it and know that I'm holding your hand. Go for it and know I've given you the victory. It doesn't matter how many folk don't understand. It doesn't matter how many people are saying discouraging words. If you got God on your side, you got to learn how to encourage yourself. Yeah, glory.